Yes, yes, yes. Hello, everyone. This is Govind here, and I welcome everyone to this presentation. I am here with Sairam, Sanjay, Shravan, Mahima, and Pawan. Uh, I am here to give you a brief about the case, the strategic break should be or shouldn't be, right? So let us start the presentation. Let me quickly take you through the content. Starting with the introduction, we will move on to history. After that, the strategic break, the overview, advantages, disadvantages. After that, hypothesis testing, and at last, we will conclude everything. So without any further delay, let us start the presentation. It is a fact that hockey is the national game of our country, but uh, the popularity that cricket has got is unmatchable. No other sports in India can match that level of popularity. Everything started after 1983 World Cup victory when Kapil Dev lifted that trophy at Lords, right, beating West Indies, and again after followed by captaincy of Mohammad Azharuddin, again followed by Saurabh Ganguly when his team played World Cup final against Australia in 2003 and shared Champions Trophy with Sri Lanka, and again after that. Um, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, under his captaincy, India won 2007 T20 World Cup, 2011 World Cup, after that 2013 World Cup. But the main game changer was 2007 T20 World Cup, which brought the interest of Indians in shorter format of the game, the 2020 match, right? It was an established as a professional T20 cricket league, which was called IPL. It was under BCCI. It was governed by ICC, International Cricket Council, and it was different from the normal one-day game. So from here, Mahima will take you forward with the presentation stating the history of IPL with you all. And so, Mahima, you can go ahead.
Govinda. So this case talks about the Indian Premium League and analyzing some of the strategies implemented made a significant difference on the performances of the players or not. So the Indian Premium League IPL was launched in the year 2008 and was established as a professional 2020 cricket league. Unlike a one-day game, which is 50 overs per inning and a maximum of 10 overs, 2020 is a 20 over per innings game, which allows a bowler to bowl a maximum of 4 overs. So apart from these, there were several other differences making 2020 a faster and exciting game. After the success of season 1 of 2020, IPL season 2 was all set to kickstart when the BCCI decided to introduce two new rules. So, the first rule being the rule of bowl out. So, in case of a tie, each team had to bowl 5 balls on an unguarded wicket, and whichever team hits the maximum number of wickets wins. And if it still ends up in a tie, the bowling continues until the winner is declared by a sudden death. Later, this rule was replaced by a super over, rule of super over. So, the second rule being the strategic break. Next slide, please. So, strategic break, it is the official timeout of 7 minutes and 30 seconds in duration midway through the innings. The introduction of this strategic break gave way to a lot of controversies in season 2 of IPL. The idea of this rule was to allow the teams to regroup tactically. But players came down heavily on the idea of a timeout in the middle of the innings. They felt that these breaks hampered the momentum of the teams. Apart from these, it received a lot of the criticisms. So, in order to evaluate whether the idea of strategic break was the best or not, the performances of the teams were looked into before and after the strategic break. So, over the course of this presentation, we will know whether it was worth bringing up the strategic break or not. Over to Pavan for the advantages.
Thank you, Mahima. So coming to the advantages, the name itself is strategic timeout, which allows the teammates to make strategies according to the opponent's gameplay. And also during this 2 minute 30 seconds break, both the teams can return to the dugout and speak to their respective coaches and then come back and continue playing the game. Most of the captains use it in a very effective manner to break the partnerships or to build the partnerships. And also the cost per advertisement between this break is so high that it has become a major source of revenue generation for the IPL. Thank you. And now my friend Shravan will be talking about the disadvantages.
Thank you, Pawan. Hello, everyone. Now I am speaking about the disadvantages of the strategic break. First is one such game which has millions and millions of fans, and even this is one big reason for the players to be pressurized. Amongst all those pressures, these pressures are like pressures from fans, pressures of the match, pressures of the team management, and all such things. The players will be at a level of stress. And as and when they start playing, they would like to finish the match at the same momentum that has been picked up by them. But the rule of a strategic break hinders their momentum. Some of the disadvantages of strategic break are controversies. Like when a player is batting or bowling, he will be doing it as per his knowledge during the match and will be having a good pace in what he is doing. Whereas when a break is given in the middle of the match, he has to either change what he's doing or has to start from the beginning from once again, which would not be a good thing to do during an ongoing match. And even this might lead to some controversies. And speaking of hampering the momentum, the strategic break hampers the momentum of the players because there would be a number of strategic changes that would be taking place during such breaks. These strategic breaks are also criticized by media. The rules of strategic breaks are criticized in such a way that the media believes that the board is interested in the revenue of the revenue from advertisements rather than the game itself. Speaking of commercial interests of the board, that is BCCI, the game of cricket has become a golden spot for the companies to advertise their products or services. Only because of the fact that each match is watched by millions of fans together at a time, these companies are ready to spend crores of rupees for their advertisements. Due to this reason, the board is in favor of the strategic break, wherein they put advertisements between the match all along the strategic break timeout. Like the entire time is used for advertisement only. And revenue from these advertisements is so huge that the game of cricket is to be believed the best game to make money. Now I would like to forward the presentation to my teammate Sanjay Solanki.
Yeah. Thank you, Shravan. I am Sanjay Solanki and I will continue with the topic need for hypothesis and test of hypothesis. Hypothesis testing is an act in statistics whereby an analyst tests an assumption regarding a population parameter. The methodology employed by the analyst depend on the nature of the data used and the reason for the analysis. Hypothesis testing is used to assess the plausibility of a hypothesis by using sample data. Such data may come from a larger population or from a data generation process. In the hypothesis testing, an analyst tests a statistical sample with the goal of providing evidence on the plausibility of the null hypothesis. Statistical analysts test a hypothesis by measuring and examining a random sample of the population being analyzed. All analysts use a random population sample to test two different hypotheses, that is the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. The null hypothesis is usually a hypothesis of equality between population parameters. Example, a null hypothesis may state that the population mean return is equal to 0. The alternative hypothesis is effectively the opposite of null hypothesis. Example, the population return is not equal to 0. Thus, they are mutually exclusive and only one can be true. However, one of the two hypotheses will always be true. Now further, we will see what are the steps involved in testing the hypothesis. Next slide. So all hypotheses are tested using a 4-step process. The first step is for the analyst to state the two hypotheses so that only one can be true. Right. The two hypotheses are, first one is the null hypothesis and second is the alternative hypothesis. By identifying what the sum required in the final answer will be given in the question. The next step is to formulate an analysis plan with which outlines how the data will be evaluated. In this, we can identify the alpha value, and by using that, the t table value will be calculated. Further, the third step is to carry out the plan and physical analysis the sample data. In this step, we find the t value by using a formula. Now the t-test can be identified by observing this sum. Like in this given example, the sample size is less than 30 and the standard deviation is unknown. So therefore, the t-test is used here. The fourth and the final step is to analyze the result and either reject the null hypothesis or state that the null hypothesis is plausible given the data. In this step, we compare the two t values which we get in this sum, like the t table value and the t calculated value are compared, and after that we can identify whether to accept the null hypothesis or to reject the null hypothesis. After that, we conclude our final assumption, whichever is suitable for the sum. Now further, Govinda will be continue with the report. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay. So obviously it is always a concern, right, when the legends of the cricket like Sachin Tendulkar says that strategic break is hampering the game, right? So, and it is also criticized by many people. So Lalit Modi wanted to know whether these claims are correct or not. So for that, hypothesis testing was compulsory, and we have done hypothesis testing. So I will give you a brief conclusion that what we came to after doing all the testing. So we have taken runs scored. We have ignored wickets from the case. We have just taken runs scored in the consideration. And from here, we came to know that strategic break does not hamper the momentum of the game. And also the claim of the players are not correct. For this, we have done two samples, t-table test. And so from there, we came to this conclusion. Hence, Lalit Modi should continue with the concept of the strategic break. There should be no changes are required, right? So from here, Sairam will take you forward with the conclusion. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Manipali Chaitanya Sairam. I will be concluding the case study. Basically, there are three exhibits, exhibit 1, 2, and 3. Exhibit 1 includes the number of teams and their captains playing in the seasons. And exhibit 2 includes the scores and the wickets of the first innings of all the teams of all the days played by the players in the season 2008. And exhibit 3 includes all the runs scored by the players and their wickets in the season 2008. So basically, when we see the conclusion part, when we include and when we calculate the testing by hypothesis method, the conclusion is like the claim given by the players that it hampers the strategy of the game is false. That is, it is not correct. So the general overall conclusion is like Lalit Modi can it's like he can continue with the having of the strategic breaks. So yeah, this is the end of the case study. Thank you, ma'am.